Yes.
Okay.
It's coarsely ground, so there should only be 4 teaspoons per cup.
It seems like as someone who doesn't drink coffee, 4 teaspoons sounds like a lot of
No
coffee.
more, no less. Next, the coffee travels from the funnel to the siphon. Simon, normally you only do surveillance in order to gather data, correct? Hiding microphones and cameras, sifting through garbage, wiretapping, shadowing, tracing credit card histories. You'll do whatever it takes to gather data in order to prevent crimes. That's how the FBI works.
Well, yeah, you're right. No reason in hiding it now, I guess. Why do you ask?
Our Southern Belle has adopted a very peculiar MO. It's almost like she has a special power, just like us. You've been watching us this entire time, haven't you, Belle? From that window.
I don't need to answer that question.
You came here on New Year's Eve, then spent 49 hours watching us until you returned to your hotel room last night. You observed us the entire time without sleep or rest. And you only ate once, some pizza delivered by Simon.
Dude loves his pizza.
Aside from that, you never drank any water or relieved yourself. You simply sat there and continued to watch us. You have visions, too, don't you? You came here solely to hear us talk, didn't you? But then, why bother watching us for over 2 days beforehand? You didn't come to talk with us. You came because you wanted to see this apartment with your own eyes. And because you're already convinced of something. Isn't that right? He who fights with monsters should see to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you.
But I...
Oh, coffee. Thank you, my fairy. If you hadn't been paying attention, this coffee would have all gone to waste. The pus in our brains, it really has a way of interfering with our lives. Didn't remember. Okay.
There's a 50-50 chance at the moment that I think that like the final act of this game will either be playing as old man Zach or playing as Aaliyah.
This is friggin' delicious. I thought I was gonna shit myself for a second there.
That is a bold statement to make after to say how you thought. I thought this was so tasty I was going to soil myself.
Come on, Aaliyah, take a sip. Trust me. I'm not exaggerating here.
I don't believe it. It's better than any coffee I've ever tasted.
Of course it is. Coffee is a sacred drink. Coffee saved us. If not for its oracle, we would be on the other side right now. So I never forget to pay my respects to coffee. Especially at critical moments like this.
Big black cumulonimbus clouds are in the sky. And that sound. Thunder snow is coming.
Sounds like a wrestler. Okay, so we've got the same. I'm guessing it's Simon again? Oh no, it's the window this time. Okay, let's look at
Does
Simon
Agent
first.
Jones need pizza in order to calm down? Why does he hate being out in the field so much? He knows we need to be on our absolute guard against this guy. Why can't he just pull it together?
Come on, don't glare at me like that, Aaliyah. I told you, I'm out of my element here, remember?
This isn't the time or the place.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just really nervous. I mean, Morgan's a legend. And now he's right in front of us, and things are all tense. I'm sure it'd give any normal agent a stomachache.
Incidentally, Simon, why did you decide to stop working out in the field?
Don't ask. It's a long story.
I don't mind. We have lots of time, don't we? I could even make you another cup of coffee, if you like.
Fine then. I'll try to make it brief. See, I used to work out in the field. Even had my own partner. But we had a little rivalry that sort of ruined our relationship. It was over a woman, of course. You know how it goes. We fell in love with the same girl. At the same workplace, too. Then one day, the three of us went to go do a stakeout at a restaurant over in East Boston. I pretended to be a customer while my partner waited in the car, and she waited in the building across the way. Well, it only took a few minutes for my partner and I to lose our heads. We started engaging in this dumb contest to see who could impress her more. Things were looking bad. I knew I was gonna lose. Then, something happened. Right in front of me, a customer starts choking on something. Face was pale, froth at the mouth, the whole 9 yards. I got up at once, but my partner stopped me. Didn't want us to blow our cover. So what did I do? I ignored him. Helped the guy anyway. I couldn't stand by and watch that. I couldn't help myself. Next thing I knew, I was a hero. The guy survived, the restaurant thanked me, and I'd even managed to win the heart of you-know-who. It felt pretty good, you know, one-upping my partner right in front of his very eyes. But that was the beginning of the end. A few days later, she and I went to go get some bubble tea at a cafe in Brookline. And a man comes up to me and said,
I'm here to thank you on behalf of the person you saved in that restaurant.
Feeling a bit cocky, I said, all in a day's work, my good man, and tried to brush him away. But he held out an envelope to me and said,
My client broke 3 ribs thanks to the unnecessary Heimlich maneuver you administered to him. He wants you to ensure that he'll be able to get the proper treatment.
I thought I'd saved someone. But all I ended up doing is wasting a lot of my precious time wrapped up in an astronomically stupid court case. It also blew our cover, so our target found out about us. In the end, I was taken out of the field and banished to a meaningless job that anyone with half a brain could do. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Anyway, well, that's what happened.
If all it takes is one person suing him to be taken off the field, I am surprised York lasted as long as he did.
Of course, I also lost the love of my life and went back to being a lonesome loser. And that's why I hate being out in the field.
I'll be honest, that entire story sounds fake. Makes me just distrust Simon even more.
Oh, come on. I tell you all that and you're not even going to say anything?
That was long, Simon.
Hey, I warned you. I told you it'd be long. Oh.
I don't trust Simon. Oh, I can inspect him again.
Looks like Agent Jones is actually mad about something for once. But he got what he deserved. I mean, showing off during an investigation, competing with another FBI agent. I'm surprised he was only transferred. Agent Jones, I'm sorry for not responding to your story. It was just so bizarre. I wasn't sure what to say.
Sorry that the greatest trauma of my life ended up being too bizarre for you.
What do you expect? All you ever talk about is pizza or hitting on women? Honestly, it offended me. I felt like I was listening to a teenage boy tell some misogynistic conquest story.
Whoa, Aaliyah, hold on a minute here. Despite how I may seem to you, I am actually pretty popular with the ladies. And you know that coworker of mine? She's the one who came on to me. Besides, I only told that story because a certain someone asked me to. It's what happens when you're a popular guy.
Yeah, it still doesn't sound true.
Is this all some big joke to you? I'm really losing my patience here.
You simply have yet to awaken to my masculine charm. Maybe you should try getting some more experience under your belt.
Agent Jones, are you trying to get me to sue you for sexual harassment?
He's digging his own grave. Isn't he, my fairy?
Aw, come on, Morgan, not you too. I'm sure a guy like you can tell why women might find me attractive.
What's that supposed to mean?
I just mean, you know, imagine it for a minute. A woman who you wouldn't necessarily call beautiful, yet still possesses some unique charm. You see women every now and then who you wouldn't mind spending a night or two with, right? And I'm like the male version of that.
No. Just no, Simon.
Come on, you know what I mean. Some women just prefer a man who's a little below the norm. And they're usually with a different guy each time you see them. From straight-laced businessmen to gold chains and fake tans. They prefer buffet style, you know? Anyway, my point is, we've all got this special kind of sex appeal.
I couldn't even keep track of all the sexist remarks you made just now.
Hey, just cool it for a sec, would you? We're having a guy conversation here.
I'm going off, Simon, quickly.
This is all just strategy I'm using to try and loosen Morgan up. Trust me.
I'm still going off, Simon.
If he actually had a hand in this, it would explain why Lisa's body was left frozen for all that time. The body wasn't stolen. It wasn't that he couldn't find it. He just left it there. It's definitely a possibility. Why would an agent as skilled as you close the Lisa Clarkson case without locating her body?
Good question. Maybe we just weren't as skilled as you think back then. Isn't that right, my fairy?
You reported the body as being stolen. Was that truly the case?
Meaning?
Meaning there's a possibility that the body wasn't stolen, but purposefully moved instead.
That's the definition of stealing something.
Maybe someone ordered someone else to get rid of the body, or even store it in a specific place.
But who? And for what purpose?
In order to use the body for something else. You never considered that? Perhaps there's some connection between the frozen body and the fact that Sang Rouge is still being produced.
Hey, Aaliyah, how about explaining yourself clearly so that even I can follow along?
Someone extracted the ingredients to Sang Rouge from Lisa Clarkson's body. That's what you're trying to say, isn't it, Belle?
So that they could go on producing the inimitable drug without Professor R.
What?
Drug addiction destroys people, physically and mentally. It makes them capable of doing anything just so they can get their hands on a fix. Abusing a corpse? That's nothing to an addict. And with your dependency, I suspect you might know just what that's like.
Maybe we do. If you threaten to take this away from us, I might have to kill you both right here. And steal all your $100 bills. Oh, spine-tingling, scary stuff, isn't it, my fairy?
You sure got a twisted sense of humor there, Morgan.
So that's interesting. So Sun Rouge isn't being made from red seeds, or maybe it was, but then obviously the red trees were all destroyed, and now. But then, at 14 years, you'd think there'd be less of her if they were using her to produce. I don't know. I meant to inspect that first rather than start talking about it, but whatever.
Do you hear that thunder? It's probably gonna snow soon.
We're in Massachusetts. That's the norm for this time of year.
Well, I'm not used to the cold. If possible, I'd like to finish this up before we get stuck in a snowstorm. Agent Jones, after we're done here, Agent Jones, is something the matter? Snap out of it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know.
Do you? Then stop daydreaming.
Okay.
You just what?
My stomach's been letting some thunder loose, too.
Thunder?
That coffee was just so good,
It what? We don't have all day here.
The coffee was just so good, it, summoned forth a massive tsunami from within me.
Excuse me? What is wrong with you? Now is really not the time for this.
Right door at the end of the hallway.
Thanks, pal. Hold on. You can make it. We can do this. It's not very far.
The more they make Simon into a comic character, the more I don't trust him.
We promise you, we did not put laxatives in the coffee. Coffee is a sacred drink, remember?
Motherfucker. There's no doubt that the report omitted information linking Morgan to the Clarksons. I need to get him to confess. Oh yeah. That reminds me. There's a secret weapon in Agent Jones's briefcase. He's chain smoking it non-stop. He's clearly dependent on it. Which means he might be dependent on other drugs as well.
There was a bucket full of empty pills and things next to him, so entirely possible.
Mr. Morgan, I heard that you were always a smoker. Did you ever wonder if that was the reason you contracted your illness?
What does that
animated him
have to
smoking.
do with this case?
Nothing. I'm just personally curious about it.
Sometimes, people die in car accidents, regardless of how well they take care of their health. Other times, they slip on their bathroom floors and crack open their heads. Isn't that right, my fairy?
I'm not concerned with statistics. I'm just curious about you, right here, right now.
We switched over from nicotine to this. It's less addictive. That's one step in the right direction, isn't it?
Perhaps. If we're talking about withdrawal symptoms or physical dependencies. But it still seems like you're smoking too much at once. Honestly, it looks to me like you have a mental dependency.
It's just a blunt.
Maybe. But so what if we do?
Surely you know about gateway drugs, yes? When a person starts to use one drug, it becomes much easier for them to branch out and try other drugs as well. The first drug acts as the gateway that leads them to stronger substances.
Oh. Are you trying to say that's going to happen to us?
No. I'm simply saying there's a possibility.
That's an interesting thing, because they're really hard on drugs in Japan, so I'm curious how... Maybe weed's not so bad in Japan, I don't know.
Agent
Maybe
Jones
loosened up a
probably
little
won't
bit.
be back for a while. Actually, now might be my opportunity to make some real progress.
Alright, let's use Simon's special weapon.
Have you ever seen this before? And please, don't say no.
Sang Rouge. The drug we once chased. What about it?
Sang Rouge is still circulating. It's changed shape and its composition is slightly different now. But it's still very much alive. But only in a very limited part of Louisiana. You aren't surprised? Did you somehow know this would happen?
Copies of another drug being circulated isn't exactly a rare case.
But Sang Rouge is special. The inimitable Enigma powder, the origin. It has many names, and no one was ever able to copy it. We've also been trying to figure out what it's made from ever since it appeared. But it's impossible to analyze. After all, it appears to be made from common ingredients that can be found anywhere. But if you try to use those ingredients, all you'll end up with is a mundane hallucinogen like DMT. If you're lucky. No. Sang Rouge requires a special recipe. The original recipe, which someone's been guarding this entire time. Someone who survived the incident in Le Carré.
Okay.
He read these over and over again, like a prisoner rereading letters from his loved ones. But the last letter was delivered years ago, according to this postmark. That must be the last time he communicated with whoever was sending these. Yet, he left them out in plain sight all this time. Immediately after they found Lisa's body, I went to go see Patricia.
I was going to say, I bet they were from Patty.
In order to interrogate her, of course.
So you told us.
But I was unable to meet with her.
She refused to speak with you, didn't she? That's so like her.
No, she didn't get the chance to. You see, she's gone missing.
What?
To put it more accurately, no one's seen her since the afternoon of the 28th. According to her employees, she shut herself up in her room for several months before she disappeared. But since that sort of thing happened often, they didn't think anything of it. On the morning of New Year's Eve, they noticed her window was open, and when they went up to check on her, she was gone. But no one knows how long her window had been open for. This is just my hypothesis, but on December 28th, a strange man visited Le Carré and was spotted near her mansion. That man must have found some way to lure Patricia into his car, the '89 Cadillac that he bought used. Then, the two of them drove north to Trenton, where they boarded a train to Boston. They would have arrived here around midnight on the 29th, or perhaps early morning on the 30th. I believe this man is the same Billy Bishop whose name was previously recorded by the airline. So, what do you think of my guess? I'd love to hear your opinion as a former FBI special agent.
Now we get it. We aren't persons of interest. We're the suspects. But what about our alibi?
What alibi?
I've had enough of your bullshit. You expect me to believe you haven't taken a single step out of this room? That Agent Jones is your witness? Surveillance cameras can easily be tampered with, especially by someone like you, who knows all about how the FBI works.
You're possessed by death. Go and take a look at your own face in the mirror. You look like the Grim Reaper. After you visited both Le Carré and Greenvale, you left a mountain of corpses in your wake. You can make all the excuses you want. I'm immune to them. Right here, right now, I want to know everything. You tell me the truth.
Yes! You're good, Belle. Damn good. You're brimming with potential. Don't you think she's the perfect partner for our last dance? What do you say, my fairy? Don't you agree? She's good. So good. What do you want to know? We've got nothing to hide. Go on. Question us. This is how it's got to be. Doesn't this remind you of something? You know what I mean, my fairy?
Okay. Well, the Boston stuff's getting more interesting. So yeah, if they've been, I mean, they said themselves they've been watching Zach and he hasn't left his apartment. I think they would have noticed that he had left for like 3 days to go to Boston, to go to Le Carré. I reckon it might be York.
Son of a... How did this happen in my town? God damn it!
You are a terrible policeman, Marvin.
The head and limbs were severed and lined up, according to the lines that were drawn with her blood. Just like migratory birds flying systematically across the sky. Hey, Zach, what do you think this means?
They're severed roots.
Severed roots?
This is the way the Clarksons kill someone when they want to cut him off from the family.
And how do you know about this?
Everyone in town knows about it. They're just too scared to talk.
What does the V stand for, then?
Beats me. What, you think I know everything now?
Vilitatio. It means quarrel in Latin. That's what the V stands for.
Latin. Intriguing, isn't it, Zach? There are no defense wounds on the corpse. In other words, Galena showed no signs of resistance when she was amputated. But, strangely enough, there are small traces of subcutaneous bleeding around the wounded areas. That's a vital reaction, which means she couldn't have been dead.
You mean...
Yes, that's right, Patty. Galena was amputated while she was still alive. And
Is
she
no
never
one going
resisted.
to take the child away
Is
from
that
the
even possible?
mutilated corpse?
It certainly isn't impossible. For example, if she was put to sleep with a drug, or if she desired the amputation herself.
Why would she ever desire that?
Mr. York, I'm sorry, but there ain't no way that could have happened.
I'm also
How
sorry,
can you be
Melvin, 'cause
sure
I
of
called you
that,
Marvin
Melvin?
a second ago.
Our world contains phenomena that could never be explained with logic. This is especially true for phenomena in which humans are involved. Do you really think all the facets of love and hate can be explained with logic?
Well, no, I don't reckon I do. Yeah, might be too early to rule out those possibilities, just like you say.
Zach, now we truly know just how deeply the Clarksons are involved with this. Patty, how long does it take to reach the Clarkson estate?
Just a short drive. You just gotta head west along the Mississippi. You can't miss it.
Got it. Thank you, Patty. By the way, Melvin, no matter how accelerated Patty may be, don't you think she's still a bit too young to see something like this? For the record, I have no intent to instruct others on how to raise their children, but...
Holy moly, you're right! Patricia, CLG! Come on, sweetie. Kids shouldn't have to see stuff like this.
Daddy, it's too late now.
I'm already traumatized. You're a terrible parent. Cool. They really like their amputations, the Clarksons, don't they?
You sure you okay, CLG?
I'm fine. Besides, I'm used to seeing stuff like that on CSI. You're the one who looks pale, Daddy.
Well, it did shake me up a little, but I'll be back to normal in no time. Sorry about that, Mr. York. What say we rest in the interrogation room till we all calm down, CLG?
Sure thing, Daddy. I'm gonna go sit with Daddy for a bit, Agent York. We can join back up later.
Fair enough.
Galena killed her daughter, so her family cut ties with her. Do you really think that's what happened here, Zach? If this is truly the ritual that the Clarksons use to cut ties with someone, why would they go out of their way to do it here, in a holding cell? They could have easily done it after we released her. And judging from how Danny Clarkson was acting, I think it's clear that he really loved Galena. How could he accept this grotesque butchering, even if it was for the sake of the family? There's no point in ruminating on this. We should get back to the investigation. As long as we keep moving, the answer will inevitably fling itself straight at us.
I feel like they should have had cameras watching the criminals for stuff like this. I imagine, though, it's probably not the Clarksons that did this, and it's probably someone who is familiar with the Clarksons' methods doing this to make the Clarksons look bad. Because, well, that's what I would do. Oh. Oh, we got another oracle.
You found the flying serpent. But now, the flying serpent will come to find you.
Yeah, that sounds right. And it looks like this flying serpent is a venomous one.
Some become feasts, while others are eaten alive. Which fate would you prefer?
Both sound marvelous, but let me check with Zach.
A fine answer. Find the one who fired the pistol at heaven. Within the white hall of beds, brandish the ticket to the goddess. And once again, you will see the other world. Do you comprehend the oracle?
Zach, it looks like he's hell-bent on leading us back into that other world.
Follow the oracle.
Oh, I will, Hungan. There are only two types of things in our world. Things that should be resisted, and things that should be accepted. And I believe this oracle is something to accept.
I think I preferred it when York got his oracles from his coffee. They were a little less on the nose. They were a bit more...
Do you think we're crazy for believing everything that skeletal gentleman says? No, we're not crazy. Not one bit. This is our destiny, that's all. But I shouldn't need to explain that to you, Zach. The one who fired the pistol at heaven. Firing pistols at the sky might be a rather common occurrence for the South. Remember? Young Guns, 1988, directed by Christopher Kane. There's that great scene where Emilio Estevez keeps firing his Colt M1877 up at the sky. Well, but that film took place in New Mexico, didn't it? And the Oracle probably isn't referring to a situation like that. It's got to be for some purpose other than an attack or a threat. Raising a pistol up to the sky, then slowly pulling the trigger, kind of sounds like the start to a race. Don't you agree, Zach?
Oh, I just said the start of a bank robbery. Okay, I guess...
Bingo, Zach. We're currently running a race here. And the one who started this murder investigation is indeed the one who fired the pistol at heaven. In other words, the person who first discovered the body. According to the files, Lisa's body was discovered by Chuck Thompson, a crawfish farmer. He apparently works out of a fishing hut located in the marshes south of the bayou.
I think this is the place I can't get to, because I can't make the jump.
We might even get to see some crawfish. What? Why isn't the murderer the one who started this race? Zach, this isn't like you. Of course the murderer isn't the one who started the race. The murderer's running it. They're currently in first place, and they're breaking all the rules. Any more objections, Zach?
Yeah, fine.
Within the White Hall of Beds. This one is even easier. There are only a few establishments that have a whole hall's worth of beds, especially in a small town like this. I'm sure you've already got a pretty good idea about what the answer is, Zach. Beds all lined up. Only an amateur would hear that and think it must be referring to a brothel. I mean, come on. Who would ever use White Hall as a symbol for a bordello? No, a White House refers to the same place no matter what country you're in. You never disappoint me, Zach.
Okay. It was either that or the hospital.
It's a medical facility. They invite their patients into rooms full of beds where they're tended to by doctors and nurses clad in white. It's definitely a White Hall, where people are invited into beds. You always manage to impress me with your intuition. I'm really counting on you here, Zach, and I know I'll always be able to.
Okay. So, even though we have leads to go and talk
Agent
to
York,
Professor R...
You're trying to leave without your trustworthy assistant?
Even though we have leads to go and talk to Professor R and the Clarksons, we have now identified two other completely random places to go and visit.
Hello there, Patty. I'd never attempt such a thing.
Which is completely in keeping with York's MO, so that's fine.
I was simply engaging in a battle of wits with Hoongan while I waited for you.
Hoongan?
Yes, the skeletal gentleman in the top hat.
Not that story again. Is this how you always conduct your investigations?
This is the way I work.
I bet you can't find a single partner. Not even in the entire FBI.
That's not true. I always work together with Zach.
Oh, right. Zach. Don't worry. I'll be your partner while you're here in our town. Now, let's go investigate.
It's interesting, because when you think about it, technically, because I'm playing as York at the moment, and this story is from York's point of view, which is why he refers to Zach and why everyone else refers to Zach. And then the sections in Boston are from Elia's point of view. So there's not actually a point in this game where you play as Zach. You're playing as York and Elia, and Zach is just... well, he's just here, like he was in the first... You only play as Zach for a very short time in the first game anyway. Just interesting thought. So I unlocked... I unlocked a bowling one. Oh, I guess it's not there. I want to talk to... I still need to turn in the Killer Bee mission to Mervyn. But he's not here. Oh. Maybe if I leave and come back. I want to get the dog one before I go too far. Alright. Well, let's save. It's been a little while. And then we'll figure out what to do next. Boom. And we're back in Deadly Premonition. And it's only been a minute for you, but it has been 3 weeks for me. Because Ghost of Tsushima came out, and I played a lot. I didn't want to play this. I wanted to play Ghost of Tsushima, because it's a better game, at least in terms of gameplay. I have now finished Ghost of Tsushima. I got the platinum last night, so we're back in Deadly Premonition, and they have patched the game. So they've patched out a scene. Well, they've edited a scene that we haven't actually got to yet. So it'll be interesting to see the scene, but they have apparently also done a few things to improve the frame rate. For this load screen is actually working properly now, which is quite nice. They've put in a patch to improve the frame rate and improve general performance. I'm interested to see whether they've actually improved the load times, because I hadn't really noticed it because I was talking. These load times are a minute long to go out into Le Car, and it doesn't look like they fixed it. It looks like it's still about a minute long. Like, it is literally... Yeah. I mean, you can tell. You've been sat here talking to me. This is 1 minute. It takes me... I have to think... I mean, I was already doing it, because I was aware that the load times were that long, but I just didn't... I kind of thought maybe, like, 30 seconds in my head. No. These are a minute long. So, since I last played... Hang on, is there going to be a cutscene since we've come outside now? Yes, okay, let's watch the cutscene, and then I'll talk. Oh, it's PJ. I recognise that scarf.
How's your mama?
He says that to everyone.
So, you're that hotshot FBI agent I keep hearing about.
And who might you be?
I came to claim the body of my daughter. My daughter, who was murdered in a holding cell after you detained her yesterday.
Philip, okay.
Zach, I wasn't expecting to run into the final boss this early. You must be the head of the Clarkson family, P.J. Clarkson. And you've come to claim the body of Galena Clarkson, whose dismembered corpse was found early this morning. Is that correct? Where did you learn that Galena had been murdered? Zach and I just learned of the news ourselves.
This is Lou Corey. And I am P.J. Clarkson. There ain't a single thing I don't know about this town.
Why does your eye patch vibrate? Except that.
So then you must also know about the Severed Roots ritual. I have a question for you, Philip. We suspect that Galena was murdered by someone from the Clarkson family. Have you given that possibility any consideration?
Listen up, you FBI piece of shit. You better watch your manners around my pa.
Shut up, Daniel.
But, sir... My bad, sir.
I'll have you know I once had 3 children. But I must not have raised them very well, because my son and my eldest daughter both ran away and never came back to me. The only one who stayed by my side was my second daughter, Galena. Then she done married Daniel here into the family and presented me with both an heir and a granddaughter. Seemed for a while as if things were finally starting to calm down. then. Someone corrupted both Galena and Lise. And I lost everything. Well, aside from my shit-heel son-in-law, that is. You understand me, FBI?
Galena's death is nothing but a loss for the Clarkson family.
That doesn't mean the Clarksons are automatically innocent, though. Humans don't always act out of self-interest, do they?
That mouth. You're starting to sound more and more like your mother. We're leaving, Daniel.
What? But my treasure...
Now, whether you end up being an angel or a demon, I reckon you're the man I've been waiting for all this time. Once you finish that autopsy, and we're clear to take her home, I want you to give me a call.
They're phenomenal, Patty. So perfectly rural. Ominous statements, foul-mouthed insults. This town possesses a complicated system of communication that you just can't find in the city. Work-centric emails are so cold and lifeless. This is what true human connections feel like. Connections as visceral as blood itself.
So, Agent York, what's next on your agenda?
The last boss may have gotten the jump on us, Patty, but I didn't let him shake my resolve. I intend to obey the skeletal gentleman's oracles, and that's that. First, we should head to either the home of the person who discovered Lisa's body or to the town's medical facility. Well, Zach, what do you think?
Who discovered the body? If we've been told that, I figured it was Merlin? No, not Merlin. Marvin. It's not that. I have a really hard trouble remembering the sheriff's name because it's not Marlin. Mervin. Because it's not Merlin, it's not Marvin, and it's not Marlin. It's Mervin. Is it Mervin? I don't know. So. Yeah, okay, the frame rate looks a bit smoother. One of the other things they fixed is if I skateboard around now, it should kick in quite quickly, I would have thought. I'll talk to Patty in a second, because I imagine it's a new chapter, she might have some new dialogue. Okay, well, it's not doing it, but York won't automatically talk to himself now, which makes skateboarding around way less frustrating. It'll come with a prompt for me to talk for him if he wants to talk now. Other things... Oh, so they haven't... This isn't something that's been patched, but since this game came out, they've released a side... Someone has put together a side quest guide. So I had a look at the side quests to see which side quests were actually worth doing. It's not good. It's not good. Apart from anything else, I have missed a side quest already, which is frustrating. One of the characters who gives you a side quest in Act 1 is now dead. So, I could... And the annoying thing is this game doesn't have chapters, it just has acts. Which means I have to replay the entirety of Act 1 in order to go back and... Because I can chapter select, but I have to replay all of Act 1 in order to pick up that side quest. It's not too bad if I skip all the cutscenes and go directly to where I need to go, but I still have to do the bowling and stuff, so it's... I don't know if I can be bothered. But apart from anything else, the rewards for the quests just are not worth it. Like, you get a bit of... The other thing is they're not voiced, which is the worst thing about it. I have to actually read all the dialogue out, which I hate. But they're not voiced, so you don't really get... It just feels like a step down from the side quests in the first game. There are a few which are quite useful. So I should get some skateboarding side quests at some point, which unlock new tricks. Let's figure out where to go, so I'm not just standing here yakking away here. So I've got the option to go to Where are my options? Doesn't tell me where my... They're on the map. Has it always done that? Alright, well I know that the... I don't know who found them. Well, let's go to the church. Because we'll go to whichever one's closest. So yeah, there's a couple that I'm going to do. There's a couple of skateboarding ones which unlock new tricks, which is fun. I have to do at least one of them because I have to unlock the ollie, I think. It'll make sense when we get to it, don't worry. I might do the other ones just to unlock the rest of the tricks. Oh yeah, the frame rate is, I mean, still not great, but it is definitely improved. I think they've reduced the textures on the road, though. Like, you can I don't remember it being quite so pixelated up ahead as it is now. But, you know, again, that might just be me misremembering. Maybe it has always been terrible. But look, the orc's not talking to himself. Yay! Oh, I said I was going to talk to Paddy. I'll talk to Paddy before I go inside. Where is she? There she is.
It really seemed like you knew who Galena Clarkson was.
Well, I've never actually talked to her. But it's a small town. Pretty much all folks know who the Clarksons are. And Galena's supposed to be extra scary compared to the rest of them. Back when we saw her in town, I felt like she was glaring right at me. So I got real scared. No one will come out and say it, but I'm pretty sure they're all relieved that she was the killer. We're lucky the killer ended up being a member of the Clarkson family. Otherwise, the whole town would have turned into a battlefield.
You've got a point, but did everyone really hate her that much?
They didn't hate her. She hated them. She had this real peculiar way of treating people. I don't know how to describe it.
Contemptful?
Yeah, I guess that's it. She never opened up to anyone in town.
She was rich, beautiful, and wanted to become an actress. So she went to a metropolitan city to refine herself. There's always a chance that people like her may develop prejudices towards those who stay in the countryside. A big chance, even. But just because a person has prejudices doesn't mean they'll go out and murder people. That's where my doubt lies. Was there any sort of omen which made people happy that she was the killer instead of someone else?
I'm just telling you how I feel. How am I supposed to know if everyone else in town felt the same way? I never thought she'd actually go and kill her own daughter, though.
There it is, Zach. It appears that her attempt to kill
me
wasn't simply a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, we might be alright, actually. I think we're a bit far
Maybe
over.
She was sad.
Sad, perhaps. Instead of returning as a star, she was forced to come home after her dreams were crushed. That certainly sounds like a sad story, doesn't it, Zach?
No, Agent York, not that kind of sad. The kind of sadness that keeps folks away, hidden behind her attitude. Is there a word for that? Maybe it ain't in her attitude or her words, but the way she appears. Yeah, it's in her eyes. They remind me of someone.
Who? P.J. Clarkson?
No, someone
He only
else.
has one eye.
I
Silly.
can't remember.
That's okay, Patty. Just let me know if you happen to recall it later. Until then, Zach and I will help you think.
The thing is I already know that Patty is a Clarkson, so this isn't any kind of reveal anymore. All I had to do was pay attention to the other cutscenes. They've mentioned that she's called Patricia Clarkson. It's a really... I don't know why they spoilt that before they got to that point in the story. Why don't they just call her Patricia, and then... or Patty, because that's what we know her as. And you'd just be like... I don't know. It just seems really weird to me that they've revealed that before we found out about it naturally in the story. Or maybe it's a double bluff, and there'll be two. Like there are two people named Brian in Deadly Premonition. There'll be two people named Patty in Deadly Premonition 2. What a twist! Two people with the same name. So yeah. So the side quests, there's not a great deal worth in doing them. There's a couple that I will do. Fortunately, one of the ones that is worth doing is one that I've already started, which is get the drink every day at the bar. Now, the reward for that isn't very good, but you need to do that to unlock the next quest, which the reward for that is quite good. There's another one which seems to be unlocked randomly, but gets you a suit. And it is the only side quest in the game that unlocks a suit. all the other side quests in the game are unlocked through... Oh, not through this. Data. This. So there are 10 suits to unlock. You unlock one every time you get 40 stamps. So, I have 21. I like the suits. I'm going to be very honest. I like the suits. They were... unlocking them, I like wearing different suits. Apart from anything else, it's useful to have at least 3 suits so you can rotate them once a day. Some of these just seem so tedious. Like, I've heard stories of people trying to get all of the... what is all of this stuff? Trying to get all of these, and it's like, the people are like, I went down to the river, you sleep for 24 hours until you get sick, heal, and then keep smoking and sleeping, and it's like, that unlocks the smoking one, it unlocks the getting ill over and over one, it unlocks the days passing one, and it's just like, I don't know whether I can be bothered to do that. I might try and unlock a couple of suits, just so we've got, the fact that there's not one for doing it once, you have to do it 5 times as well, it's just... Yeah, I might... Off-screen, I think. Try and... I think some of these are related to... These ones were related to skateboard tricks. I don't understand what these ones are, because I've done more than one of 3. So I might have to look up... I've done the bowling ones. I don't know. Anyway, my point is that, yeah, I probably won't do that many side quests on screen anymore, because the rewards for them just aren't worth the effort of doing them, so I might do more of the side quests off screen. So, which means we should be able to sort of plow through the story a bit more in terms of at least your viewing. I was
Just so you know, dealing with Pastor Sanders is gonna be a big pain in the butt.
But, yeah, that's my problem, and not so much yours.
A big pain in the butt?
That's what I said. But I guess you have no choice but to obey your oracle, huh?
I've already talked to the doctor/pastor a couple of times. He seems... No, he is annoying, but, you know, no more annoying than anyone else in this town. Alright. Well, let's see what he wants me
Zach,
to do.
it appears to be closed.
Oh.
Let's come back during business hours.
Well, this game defaulted me to 7 o'clock. I figured it would... Ugh, okay, alright, we won't go and see the pastor. We'll go... Alright, let's head over to the other one, I guess, then.
Several years ago, a woman was murdered upstairs.
He lives in the apartment below David Young's. Oh.
Her husband still lives there.
He totally lives but in the apartment below David Young's.
He's ex-BPD.